How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading with the prices going up or down. Flatcoins, new thing on the horizon, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. Coinbase CEO Armstrong believes Flatcoins are the next iteration of stablecoins. He says it's the next thing on the horizon. Armstrong said in a recent interview discussing the future direction of the exchange. He said there's a couple of teams working on Flatcoins. They're not building something in the realm yet, but they're interested in it. You might be wondering what a Flatcoin is. It's a term mentioned on Twitter by ex-Coinbase CTO Balaji, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, in 2021. And it's designed to move in line with inflation instead of being pegged to a currency or asset, so you're not going to lose value as your dollar diminishes each year. By tracking inflation, it is argued Flatcoins offer better retention of value than stablecoins, offering a better return on their investment. Nuon is one example of these coins. It is an inflation-proof coin built on Ethereum, their spot that is pegged to the cost of living in the US, and a Solana-based project ISC that is pegged to a mixed bag of assets including bond, treasuries, and gold. There's also Colapto, I believe that's how you say it. It tracks real estate and commodities for collateral. So there's a few examples of these. So this would be something nice to see, as I would rather see some sort of way for me to get some sort of incentive for holding stablecoins, rather than someone getting a benefit for me giving them my money and doing nothing with it if I don't buy in. House Republicans reintroduce bill to outlaw digital dollar CBDC. Republican House Majority Whip Tom Emmer announced today that he has reintroduced the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act, which was first filed in late February, all in an effort to prevent the US from issuing a digital dollar. He says, if not designed to emulate cash, a government digital currency would dismantle Americans' right to financial privacy and embolden the administrative state. So, Emmer does have that concern. There is a lot of people with that concern. Emmer's reintroduced bill comes with two key differences over the original. First, it adds a new section that bans intermediate CBDCs, so the Fed can't make a CBDC for our government. The second is a removal of the requirement for the Federal Reserve to report to Congress any potential CBDC pilot programs, and they say that helps make the bill more narrowly focused. Gensler slams crypto markets as lawmakers raise questions about Bitcoin ETF. Referring to a federal judge bombshell decision last month to side with Grayscale over the SEC, Senator Bill Hagerty asked Gensler what the body needs to see in a filing to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. Gensler told the State Banking Committee he has no clue. He says he's still reviewing that decision and added that we have multiple filings around Bitcoin exchange traded products. So it's not just one that you mentioned, but it's multiple others we're reviewing. I'm looking forward to the staff's recommendations. So he pretty much said, I'm waiting for someone to tell me. Gensler today reiterated that he thought that the industry was a wild west of non-compliance, and it's a field which is rife with fraud, abuse, and misconduct. You're the reason why you won't regulate. Some lawmakers have criticized Gensler for not being clear-cut enough with what he wants from crypto companies, and in turn stifling innovation and creating the Wild West that he complains about. But, you know, if he solved his own problems, he'd have nothing to complain about. RSI is trying to come up on our total here on the daily, our stochastic is trying to push forward, our money flow is trying to come up, and our VWAP is trying to push forward. The momentum's trying to come up, but we could form some sort of long upper shadow candle here, so be warned, don't get too excited. We didn't close a bullish engulfing candle yet, so we do have a possibility to still get rejected from here. This could just be a retracement game. Over on Bitcoin dominance, we have a reversal arrow forming as we're running up, so that's not too good because that means we could start to run down. Kind of like here, we went up a little bit further, but then we ultimately came back down. We are filling this gapped area that we did fill before, but that just shows how the weight of gaps can hold over time. We do have potential to continue to this other gapped area up here, around this 50%, But if we tap that and then reject from it, we could see another swing down. Our stochastic is running up, RSI is coming up, our VWAP's trending up, the money flow is trying to break bullish, but it's starting to struggle. Our momentum is running up pretty decently, but with the VWAP starting to taper out, that could start to struggle as well. So I would watch what the next candle brings. If we start with a red candle tomorrow, we could see some downside. I would watch at least for a retest of this support. Over on Bitcoin futures, we did touch our support that we've been warning about. So if we're, that is further back than I wanted to go. If we're not careful, we could have a really good bullish case. This could be a big double bottom that could push us up. Oh, that could be something like that. Okay, how it does that? Our trend line for this would be right around here. Our breakout point would be right here. Could ultimately push us above to that top of our gap area. So this could create enough momentum to push us to fill that 36K gap we had. That would create a new high as far as patterns go, but it would leave this 20K area left to fill. The 20K area is a little older or newer than this area, so it could be possible we could tap that gap, get everyone really excited one more time, and then see one last flush down to the 20K zone. That would be our ultimate best case. If we don't see that 20K fill during this bear run, then during the bull market we would see a very brutal dropout probably through the next bear cycle. Our stochastic is starting to come out, RSI is starting to head down, our VWAP is running higher highs, but we are kind of starting to taper off. We're meeting a little bit of resistance right around this 8. We've had kind of 2 points back here, probably some in other history that have rejected us down for some swings, so watch out for a break of the support here. Our money flow is heading out, our momentum does want to come up with a bullish divergence, but with the money flow starting to come out and the VWAP being a little iffy, we could see a swing back the other way, especially as that VWAP comes on. Over on the daily for Bitcoin, it's not too great here. We do have a bullish engulfing candle technically, but it's also a inverted hammer candle, so if we don't get strong bullish momentum tomorrow, we could see a pretty strong rejection of this pattern. This is so far a retest. If we break above this line and close, that would be a confirmation into our pattern. Well, not confirmation, that'd be a break into the pattern. The confirmation would come from a second green candle close in this range. Like we had this one breach, this one broke, we did not confirm, and we rejected. So that would be what you are watching for. RSI is heading up, our stochastic's coming out, our VWAP is trying to head up, that stochastic does want to get close for a bullish cross, so that could push us forward. Our money flow is heading up, we are kind of meeting some resistance right around this 11 though, so keep that in mind and watch that. Our momentum does have a green dot and it is trying to push forward, so if the VWAP can break through this neutral, we could get a swing up, and then if the money flow follows, we could continue that swing, but if we break through and then the money flow continues out, we could see a rejection. Oops, did not mean to do that. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we have a retest going on and we are so far breaking. So our next candle is going to be pretty important if it's green or red. Stochastic is starting to reject away, our RSI is falling out, VWAP is coming down pretty aggressively, the momentum's rolling over, and the money flow is starting to reject that neutral, so overall we do have some bearish pressure here. Over on the 2 hour, we're starting lower highs and slightly lower lows, so we are starting a slight downtrend that could break us down. Our stochastic is running down, our RSI is overall trending out, our momentum's starting to come down with the red dot, and the VWAP is trending out. The money flow is also rolling over, so overall we look a little more bearish and bullish. Real quick, if you haven't already, hit that like, hit the subscribe, and join us with that Discord link up above. Our RSI is starting to come out, our stochastic is starting to reject away, and our momentum is starting to come down, so we are looking pretty bearish here. We have a manipulation X also on the candles that wants to bring us down. That money flow is starting to roll away, it could break into the bearish territory, and our VWAP is starting to reject away from that neutral pretty decently, so we are seeing overall a push to the downside, and this could continue if our money flow breaks into the bearish territory and makes a new low. Over on graph for the daily, we aren't getting too big of a pump up. We have a pretty bad candle here, as is a long upper shadow candle, so if this closes, that shows that buyers tried to push us up toward this kind of SMA line. I don't do SMA lines anymore. They're lagging more so than most indicators, so that's why. But we did hit it, got rejected by it, so we could continue rejection, but they don't always hold up, so that's why I don't really trade them. Over on the 4 hour, we are starting to push away slightly here. Our stochastic has a bearish cross, our RSI is pretty flat, the VWAP is breaking down, and the money flow is rolling out, and the momentum's starting to break down as well. So if the VWAP breaks bearish here, we could ultimately get sucked down, as the bulls have lost all control, and is pretty much in the bears' hands right now. We have a manipulation X here on the 2 hour that does want to bring us down. It brought us down quite a bit. We are kind of making a bear flag, so we do have potential to see another drop from here. Our stochastic does have a bullish divergence, but that doesn't really mean a whole lot when you're in a bear trend, because you'll see those and they won't really bring you up. Just like in a bull trend, you'll see bearish divergences, but they won't really bring you down most of the time. Our RSI is starting to trend out. Our money flow is starting to trend out, overall with lower highs and lower lows, and our momentum is starting to push down. The VWAP is also breaking into bearish territory, so overall we do have some bearish strength here. Over on the 1 hour, we have a manipulation X that brought us down. That's what you're seeing transferred to the 2 hour. The stochastic is starting to roll over, RSI is starting to roll over, our VWAP is starting to reject that neutral, our momentum is starting to reject away, and our money flow is in a pretty deep bearish trend. So overall, the 1 hour is looking very bad. And this daily doesn't really look like it has much hope to recover because all our indicators are in a bearish trend. So even though we're getting bullish pushes, we are in bearish trends. So I would not be too fooled. I would be a little skeptical, but that's my opinion. Our RSI is trying to bounce up, our stochastics overall coming out, our VWAP is trying to push up, and our money flow overall is in a bear trend here, so our money flow is getting lower highs and lower lows currently. Our momentum is trending out, even though we tried to get bullish divergence to push us up, but it didn't take us anywhere. So, kind of like what I was warning about on graph. Over on the 4 hour, we are starting to kind of roll away here. Our stochastic has a bearish cross. Our RSI is overall trending out, and our VWAP is getting close to our neutral and in danger of flipping bearish. If the VWAP carries strong bearish strength, we could continue down and break down for another leg. Our momentum is rolling away, and the money flow overall is trending out, so I would be weary. Over on the 2 hour, we have a manipulation X that's likely carrying from the 1 hour that could print here. Our stochastic is trying to push bullish, but with that manipulation, we may see it get rejected pretty quick. Our RSI is starting to come out, the momentum is starting to reject away, and the VWAP is pretty flat, so it is struggling to get lower than a 7. That is positive for us, but it's also not gaining much bullish strength. So if the VWAP starts to curl away from here, we're going to see another leg down. However, if it manages to continue to tick up, we could break that neutral, see some actual strength come in, and get a leg up. Over on the 1 hour, we have a little bit of a gap here. I believe we filled a gap. Yeah, we filled this gap back here, that 1759. I believe we created a gap right around this 1860, so we have not yet filled that. So this could be us trying to trend toward that 1860 to 1866 gap, but falling shy of it. So we may spring up, fill this gap that we're kind of close to, but if we don't continue up from there, then we could see a rejection at where we wouldn't fill this higher gap. We would see that gap fill later and possibly continue down. Our stochastic is starting to roll over, the VWAP is rejecting away from neutral, our momentum's coming out, and the money flows deep into the bearish territory, so overall we have more bearish pressure here. Over for XRP, we are pushing away from the elder flag, so I'm going to delete that since that's a low time frame pattern and we've broken away from it, so it's not really going to hold up quite like a daily breakaway. Our stochastic is heading out, our RSI is coming up, that VWAP's trying to come up, and the money flow is trying to trend up. But overall, it is pretty deep in the bearish territory still. The momentum is coming out, this green candle is not the best green candle, not the worst either, so it's kind of just a meh candle. Over on the 4 hour, we tried to push up, we are starting to push away, so this could be our retracement. We could start to pull back and see another leg down. Our stochastic is starting to roll away, our RSI is starting to roll away, our VWAP is starting to roll away, and the money flow is starting to flip into the bearish territory. Not very strong, so watch if it just zigzags here. Our momentum is starting to kind of taper off as that VWAP's losing strength, so overall I would be weary. Over on the 2 hour, we are starting to get a bit of a topping candle pattern here. If you're not familiar with these topping candle patterns, join that Discord, hit the like, and subscribe. But our stochastic is pretty overbought. We aren't really going anywhere. The RSI is starting to lose strength, even though it has as much strength as it can have with the stochastic. So that stochastic may start to push down on us. The momentum is starting to roll away as our VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory. So if it flips bearish, we could get a leg down. The money flow is starting to trend out. We do have lower lows setting with lower highs, so we do have a bear trend forming. Over on the 1 hour, we are in a bit of an up channel, so that makes me even more cautious because if you don't know already, up channels are descending patterns that break you down. Our stochastic is starting to fall away, RSI is starting to come out, the momentum starting to reject with a red dot, and the VWAP is starting to push lower. The money flow is starting to trend out, so we do have a bearish trend starting here as well, and we are starting to get that rounding pattern, so watch out. Over on Algo, we are getting a bit of a rejection here with a hammer candle as well, so not looking too good. Not really, pretty in line with the rest of the market, not too good for a continual move up. Stochastic is coming down, RSI is trying to make a bounce. Like I said, with this candle, we're going to need a green candle to form and push us up in order for this to form a rounding bottom. Otherwise, this is going to form a rounding top and push us down pretty drastically, possibly. Our VWAP is trying to head up, the money flow is trending out, the momentum's trending out, so overall we do have bearish strength here on the daily, so not too good. The 4 hour we are rejecting away for the second time for our resistance. So if we break a lower low, we may start to break even lower and see lower price action. That stochastic is starting to bearish trend and falling. RSI is falling, the VWAP's in the bearish territory, and the money flow is breaking bearish as well. The momentum is starting to roll away with a red dot, so overall everything's more bearish here, and we could see further downside if things don't flip. Our stochastic is pushing here on the 2 hour, but we are kind of trying to cradle and curl, so that could try to save us. Our RSI is overall tapering out though, our momentum's coming out, VWAP's trending out, and the money flow's overall trending out, so overall we have more bearish indicators here than we do bullish, so I won't get your hopes up too high. Finally, for the 1 hour for Algo, we are starting to trend out. Our stochastic's starting to trend out with that RSI. Our money flow is pushing up slightly, but it doesn't really have a strong bullish trend. We are kind of meeting resistance where we've met previous resistance and broke down from, so bear that in mind. The momentum is rejecting down, the VWAP's falling down, so overall everything's more bearish looking than bullish, and if you saw that candle, it was flipping pretty bearish. It was pushing quick, so we could see the bears start to drop us even lower if we break this zone here. This is kind of a support resistance zone as you have many candle touches and wicks. We'll cover our meme coins real quick. So we're starting our breakout that we covered and we are starting to push up. This is your classic retest. Candles and everything looks more in line like everything else. We are trying to push up, but this is a long upper shadow candle. Our stochastic's coming out, our RSI is trying to come back up, so the stochastic may try to rebound with it. Our money flow is overall trending out and gaining a bearish trend. Our VWAP is pushing up, so our momentum does want to push up. If the VWAP pushes bullish, we could break this pattern and continue up, but if you remember, I was leaning a little more bearish. Over on the 4 hour, we have a manipulation X here that could bring us even lower. So our retest may be done and we may see lower downside. Stochastic is starting to reject, RSI is starting to reject, the VWAP's breaking into the bearish territory, so our momentum could get a red dot on the next candle. Our money flow is also starting a bearish trend, so overall things are looking more bearish than bullish here as well. Our stochastic is pushing out, RSI is overall in a bearish trend on the 2 hour. The momentum is coming down from a red dot, so we could see that break bearish as our VWAP's in the bearish territory and continuing down. The money flow is overall trending out and touching that neutral, so watch out if it breaks here. That manipulation X, the money flow, and the VWAP all combined could push us lower. Over on the 1 hour, we might have like a little mini head and shoulders, bigger left shoulder than a right shoulder, but this would be a shoulder, head, shoulders, push us down toward this zone. Nothing too big, so I'm not going to draw it. Our RSI is starting to trend out, our stochastic starting to trend out, and our money flow is starting to reject away. The VWAP's also starting to reject away, bringing our momentum down. So if the money flow and VWAP continue bearish here, we will see continual downside. Last but not least, for SHIB, we are holding better than Doge. I did say that was likely, as we would possibly come through this pattern. So if SHIB is kind of our indicator for our market, we may be able to see this break up and we may be able to save ourselves. However, if the rest of the market starts to drop away from here, we're going to invalidate this pattern. So keep that in mind if you've been holding out for buying or you jumped in back here hoping it would just break up. That's why you don't want to break into patterns too early, and why I won't say like back here, hey, we have this pattern. I'll wait till we're a little closer. That way you don't jump in too soon and get wrecked. Our RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to make a bullish cross, our VWAP's trying to push up, and our money flow is overall trending out. The momentum is trying to curl up, so we do have some potential for a bounce here, but watch out for this hammer candle, as like I said with the other coins, that could be a bearish indicator if we don't get a green candle following it. On the 4 hour, stochastic is starting to push us out, our RSI is starting to trend out, the VWAP is starting to break down, and the money flow is pretty flat. The momentum is starting to head out, so it could break bearish if that VWAP doesn't recover here. We're on the 2 hour, we are testing our support. We did make a bounce and we are coming back down. If we get a green candle after this hammer candle, that could act as a bullish trend up. However, if we get a red candle that confirms this red X, we could break down and see continual downside. Stochastic's trying to head up and our RSI is overall trending out, so we have a little discrepancy there. The momentum's overall coming out from a red dot that wants to break us down. The VWAP is starting to push away. It is trending out, but it's not in a bearish trend yet. Our money flow is in a bearish trend though, and that is pushing us lower. So overall, if these things continue in the bearish zone, we could see continued downside and we could invalidate the pattern. Over on the 1 hour, RSI is pretty flat here. Stochastic's starting to break down. Our money flow is trying to push bullish, but our VWAP's coming out. If that money flow can break bullish and maintain bullish strength, it may pull the VWAP with it, and then we could see the pattern still in play. The momentum is coming out due to the VWAP breaking bearish, so if the VWAP recovers, we may be able to get some bullish momentum, but that's a little dicey looking depending with the rest of the market, how that's looking. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.